Hello. I'm just hiding here, sheltered a bit from the wind. The temperatures are a little better today. April was the rainiest April in history in Newfoundland. We beat a 70-year-old record. So there was no sunshine, and it was cold. It was awful. So I don't know if I'm that behind, but I've got to get going. I've really got to get cracking. For today, I've got to get my broad beans going. I'll show you. The bed is a mess. Nature is taking over those beds, so I've got a lot of work to do on those. I'll just pick bit by bit, but at least I'll do a little bit where the broad beans will go. In the center of that bed, which is still okay, is my garlic, which I'm very pleased has all shown itself. I'll show you that in a minute. And yeah, then I've got to get some more of my beds filled with some soil. So I'm going to be cracking on this stuff, but it's so windy that doing any camera work, this tripod's probably about to blow over in a minute. I can see it shaking. It's hard for me to do, and of course you wouldn't be able to hear me anyways, really. So I'll get on with that. I hope everyone is well, and hope your gardens are getting on their way, better than mine, but mine will catch up, all in good time. So these are my saved garlic cloves that I planted. I planted 160. It's porcelain music garlic. And this is hashtag upside down bulb challenge for Terry King's allotment. And it's popped up. Little behind my other, but a fun little challenge. Growing garlic has pretty much got to be at the top of my garden joys. Growing it is so easy. I planted these again from my own cloves October 18th, and you know, nothing else is going in the garden. There's nothing else you can do in my climate. Then in spring they pop up on their own, unaided, no work involved, and the sheer joy, of course, of eating your garlic. They store very easy. They store from season to season for me. In fact, I'm starting to give my last year away because I know I'm not going to get through the last few. I also, of course, love my Egyptian walking onions. These are the ones that have done their walking here. I see just bulbs littered all over there. But another brilliant veg that pops up, and I'm getting low on my onions stored from last year, so I start throwing these. I just cut and come again in many of my cooked dishes. And all this mess, you see it all creeping in. I've even lost the dirt. It's all been washed away. I've got to get cracking on this. What a mess. So I'm going to start with today just working on where I'm putting the broad beans, and I'll probably be a bit pooped out after that. That'll be enough for today in these winds. Gardening isn't easy, but it sure is very rewarding. So I've decided to put my broad beans in this space this year. So I've planted 35 broad bean seeds, 6 inches apart, 2 inches deep. I'm still finishing off last year's frozen broad beans. I didn't grow up with broad beans or fava beans on the dinner table, but I have come to appreciate their very high nutritional value, and they're purported to be very helpful with many diseases, lots and lots of health benefits, and so great to store. I store them frozen or demi-sec. I pod them once, then freeze them, and then I pod them the second shell after cooking each time, so it's not quite so burdensome because double potting can make you want to scream. Here I'm even putting them in mashed potatoes. They're delicious. I also planted a few of my own saved broad bean seeds from last year when I planted my peas out, and they are popping out. And these were the cold frames Bruce built, but I've decided to put them to a different use. I'm going to put my stored Jerusalem artichokes in them. So I stored them overwintered, whatnot, in dirt in that bucket. Then last weekend I added some water, and they had no roots. And the roots in 1 week, they all came out. So I'm going to put these few in here. Hopefully they'll enjoy it in there. And I also finally got off the pot and went for the asparagus. I put it off because it's such a long-term growing thing, but I saw them in the local hardware store, so I thought, yeah, let's put some in, and this is a great place for them, I think, I hope. I've got 2 kinds. So I bought Jersey Giant and Mary Washington. So I'll just zhuzh up the soil, very much needed in these 2 cold frames, and lay the asparagus out. I think it should fit. So I'll go whip up some form of soup. I have a feeling it will be oniony and garlicky. Have a great week.